Great, so welcome to this event, everyone. So my name is Caroline, and as Lucia mentioned just before we started this recording, I am currently the chair of International Working Women of Finland Association, and I'm as well working as a process development director at KONE. And I'm very pleased today to be the moderator of this event. We have wonderful ladies who are joining us from F-Secure, Wärtsilä, Nordea, and Linksoft, and we are going to address the different companies' profiles and hear their stories, and especially how they are considering diversity and inclusion concerning international talents, for instance, in their companies. And when the companies' presentations are over, then we will move to the Q&A session. We have already received some questions before the event online, but of course now we will also take all the questions coming from the chat. So, or at least as many as we can go in the time that we have today. So for our participants online, please be active and put your questions in the chat box. And for our presenters, good luck with your presentations, and looking forward to hear more from your companies. So I think we will start then with Pia from Linksoft with the presentation, and Pia is service manager at Linksoft, I think.
Yes, thank you, Caroline. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Just a moment. Here. I hope you can see it.
Yes, we can.
Yes, let's see. And the presentation mode here. Okay. Hello, everybody, and thank you, first of all, for inviting me to this event. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Pia Helle. I work as service manager at Linksoft, which is a language management company based in Turku and Helsinki. We are a fairly small company compared to my fellow speakers here today, but a very international and multilingual at heart. So I hope to be able to provide you with some useful information for you all here today. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'd like to start by, let's see. Okay, my presentation is not working. Just a moment here. With shortly introducing our company. We were founded some 30 years ago by a group of linguists, and today we are actually the biggest Finnish-owned language management company in Finland and elsewhere, of course. We provide services and solutions that are used for different ways of analyzing, processing, and producing both spoken and written languages. Our solutions are actually all based on our own language technologies. So we are a language technology company, and we of course utilize also the latest AI research, and especially in the areas of natural language processing, or NLP, if you're familiar with it, neural networks, and so on. This all sounds very kind of tech. But what do we actually do? I compiled a short list of the types of services and solutions we have provided this year for our clients, and the biggest are translation and localization for instance, software applications. But we also do a copy editing, transcreation, localization, subtitling, content creation, and well, the list goes on. And this is by no means an exhaustive list. We are a very agile company, and our services are always kind of designed and tailored to meet our customers' needs on a specific situation. But who then are our customers? Our biggest client sector is actually the public sector. Our clients are various government organizations in Finland and different bodies of the European Union. The European Commission is actually our biggest client at the moment, European Parliament coming as close second. We also provide language services for different companies, for instance, in the fields of information technology and healthcare. We work closely with universities in Finland, both within research areas and as language service providers as well. Media houses are very, very big clients of us, and so on. Here are some examples of our clients. I think last year we provided language services for perhaps over 200 different customers. So here's a small gathering of them. But then coming to the topic of today, who are we? Who works at Linksoft? We have about 100 people at the moment working in-house. I actually gathered a list of the source of educational backgrounds and prior experiences my colleagues have, and ended up with quite a long list. Here are a couple of examples. I'm sorry, I'm working with two screens here. Language technology and translation and localization linguistics, especially computational linguistics. That is of course, our core business. So we have many employees with backgrounds in linguistics, but also we are a kind of project organization. We work with projects. So we have many project managers, people with strong project management background. Data analysis, we of course do as well. We provide solutions to clients with huge data lakes, and we help them to analyze the contents, for instance. We need strong IT support services and have quite a few developers, both back-end and front-end. So the kind of spectrum of competencies is very, very wide. We have portfolio managers and also people, of course, in sales, account management and finance and marketing, so on. So to kind of back up the business. But here's kind of a short gathering. Actually, for my part, my background is in languages, but I'm actually a teacher, so that's one more an option with which to come to the company. We also have a very large network of freelancers who are from I think all over the world, and we cooperate with them on a daily basis. Most of them are translators in over 160 different language combinations. But of course, as our services are very versatile, we have freelancers for other areas as well. Content creation is a growing business, and the same kind of types of talents that we have in-house, we also work on a freelance basis. We are as we are a smaller company in size, we don't actually have like, I think that multiculturalism and diversity is built into the way we work. So we have always been a very international company and have people from many backgrounds working for us from the beginning of the company. So let's see. We have offices in Turku and in Helsinki. I'm working and hailing from Turku at the moment. We are a matrix organization. We have a very informal working culture and aim for a low hierarchy. So we work in projects and which are either very short term or longer term of usually 4 to 10 people. And then of course, depending on the project, we work together with other teams and combine talents to meet the customer needs. And an interesting part, we have been working remote for over 20 years now. So we were kind of old timers when COVID hit. But I have to say, none of us, or very few of us, were working remote full time before last year. So during the past 13 months, our work has been fully remote, or whatever you wish to call it, working from home or telecommuting or whatever. So this was a very, very familiar way of working for us. But at this scale, I think we were all a bit surprised. However, as I think a majority, I think 55% of our customers are outside of Finland. We have used to, and let's say, I think 80% of our freelancers also outside of Finland. We have been used to working and using Zoom and Google Meet anyway. So this has kind of only enhanced some of the ways of our work culture. And I think it'll be interesting to see next fall where we will be when the situation has kind of returned to normal, I hope. I think we will continue working remote, but many of us are looking forward to seeing each other at the office again. Let's see. I have a few more slides. Our main working languages in-house at the moment are Finnish and Swedish and English. But for the people working close to me at the moment, we have many German, French, Russian and Czech speakers as well. So we are used to communicating in different languages. But I think English is, with our customers, Finnish and English are most commonly used. Then I have a few words of the open positions we currently have. We are recruiting at the moment for, well, first of all, if you're kind of I encourage you to follow our LinkedIn page and our website. We publish all our open positions there, and if you wish to submit or anytime an open application, you can send it to the address here, jobs@linksoft.fi. We are currently recruiting a language resource coordinator, a service coordinator. Actually, we have two openings, and 2 traineeships are also currently open. Then we have kind of a continual look for new freelance translators at the moment, especially in the fields of European Union, information technology and public administration. But if you found our fields of business interesting or have a background in the areas I briefly mentioned, please don't hesitate to submit an application. And I'm happy to answer if you have any questions regarding these. And I think that was actually it. I was quicker than I thought.
Brilliant, you're right on time. So
yes,
perfect. I was actually trying to signal you that you had 1 minute left, but you
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Brilliant. No, it's good to keep the time, because indeed then it gives more room for Q&A. So
I understand. Here's my contact information if anybody wants to send a message or anything. But thank you.
Well done. And we will see you again then for the Q&A a bit later.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So next we have Anna, who is from F-Secure and who is the HR business partner lead. And Anna, we are looking forward to.
Hi, Caroline. Super happy to be here. Long time we haven't talked. Let me know if you have any problem with the audio, because my VPN connection, you know, in F-Secure we have these very strict VPNs, is messing up with me. So if you cannot see the slides, just let me know. Let's see if I can do my magic and share the screen successfully.
At least the audio is perfect for now. So let's see with the screen.
All right, it should be there. And let's see if I can put it on presentation mode. Voila.
We're not, at least I'm not seeing it yet. I don't know for others.
It says here screen sharing. Would be so fun if this doesn't work. I will take the video just to make sure that we don't have any problems with that, because I can see that everybody is froze. One sec.
It says that you have started to share your screen, but we don't see it somehow.
Yeah, for some funny reason, everything is like a bit stalled at the moment. So, okay, I'm gonna do some. All right, it should be working now. I'm gonna take my video because I think that it may be making some tricks there, and I will also stop any incoming video. Okay, I assume that you can see it now. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right,
Perfect,
good.
Anna.
Perfect. Don't hesitate to interrupt me if things start to get bananas again. So here, F-Secure, we are in a mission. We are here to keep you safe. I think it's one of the nicest missions ever. Not that easy in these times. Here it's me, Senior HR Business Partner and Head of Diversity and Inclusion in F-Secure. More than 20 years of experience in all the HR areas: talent acquisition, development, compoundment, global mobility, absolutely. I've been 10 years in Finland, and I have worked for 3 very important Finnish companies like Kone, Fiskars, and F-Secure. So all these businesses, they have nothing to do with each other. Interesting. Here you have my LinkedIn page. Feel free to connect so we can stay up to date to each other. Some things about F-Secure, and I don't want to spend much time on the blah 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 and facts, because it's something that you can see on the career page. But here, something to highlight: most of the revenue comes from Europe, and actually less from Nordics than the rest of Europe. And it's a company that is here since 1988. And we have 2 business lines primarily: consumer security, so each of us, and then business to business, so all companies and operators like Telia or DNA. And we are operating in more than 100 countries, and people 1,700 in 27 countries. I will go into more details in demographics for Finland a bit later. Here is the countries in which you operate, which is very interestingly because we are not that big to be so scattered. And it's very actually interesting to try to have a meeting when you have so many people from so many countries, but you have maybe 1 or 2 or 5 people in each location. So location can be challenging sometimes. Here, very important, but I want to spend much more time here. So we have consumer security and corporate security. Companies, more than 100,000, and actually we are very strong in critical areas like transportation, and I'm with transportation, I mean aviation, and other key critical areas like banking. Can you imagine what is to be selected for any of those businesses to protect their customers? And then we have consumer security products. So we have direct customers, like if you have F-Secure products, but then if you have DNA, Telia, Telefonica, TokTok, so we have operators all around the world indirectly. You are one of our users. Here, why is this growth in demand for security? Very, very interesting stuff. I think that whenever I hear people like the red teams talking about security, sorry, the red teams are those hackers that companies hire to check how is the security going on, and they have very interesting things to share. So the targeted attack, almost anything is possible. The company needs to protect all the horizon of the organization. However, the attacks come from anywhere. So very, very complicated. Cloud industry, very vulnerable. Email, and you have seen in the news all the phishing email, terrible how it's so becoming so professional. You get an email from Nordea or a WhatsApp or a SMS, and it looks truly legitimate. Ransomware, definitely, it's there to stay. Internet of Things, so IoT, and we are always scared about what if somebody gets into our domains and hacks our fridges, our TVs, our Alexas, our Google machines, our radio, our phones, and then governments. So there is a lot of strikes coming from different countries to the others about this type of cyber strikes. So as you can see, the variation is so huge. Actually, it's very, very passionate. I hope I'm not speaking too fast, because when I get overexcited, I start to speak really fast. Let me know if I'm doing that. So cybersecurity is a very interesting process, because you cannot react to breaks, otherwise it's too late. You need to predict where they may come in. You have to prevent. How can you prevent them from incoming or the attacks? Then you have to detect. If they come in, I need to find out very, very soon, and then you need to respond. So when they are here, then what tools do I have to fight an attack, cybersecurity attack? And in this process, we need people who is managing all of these areas for consumer, for companies, and as I added before with this complicated slide with the world, in all this type of IT, cloud services, email phishing, ransomware, etc., etc. And here we have this sentence in F-Secure that is merging a man and machine. And I added messaging for man and machine because, of course, we are very, very into diversity and inclusion. And this is a slide that I really, really like. So it's about how do we use data intelligence. And we have actually one full unit that we only hire data scientists. And we have people from the university and professors that are working from us. Actually, our VP of artificial intelligence comes from university. So as you can see, more than 50 million endpoints and more than 1 million samples and more than 5 billion every day. This is quite amazing. Yet again, we are super proud to be the Best Protection Award winner last year. And this is something very important for all the people in this team. When we talk about pandemic and working in remote, we have won all the Best Protection Award with everybody working in remote. So I think it was in March that we sent everybody home. I've been in the office like 3 times, I think, in more than a year. And people were recommended to work from home. And still, in an area that is as complicated as this, we managed to beat it. So all the awards that you can get, we got them. Another vendor, another company can show this track on awards on the A/B test. Once said that, let me add a disclaimer. The difference is so small that being in the 5 top positions is already huge. It's already quite a lot because you can miss a sample for very minimal things. So yeah, we are hiring. We are looking all type of roles. And of course, R&D is one of our core areas. So security research, R&D, security consultant. But of course, we need the support functions because without these support functions, HR, sales and marketing, finance, and organization is nothing. So we need all that. And we are very, very actively hiring. And if I can tell you what makes us so unique, at least from my perspective, we are really focused on diversity and inclusion. And if I would comment on this, diversity and inclusion is not about accepting or embracing differences. It's about culture at, not culture fit. So when you think about when you are working in a talent acquisition department, is this person fitting the team? I always challenge my management team members, is this person added something to the teams? So it's about recognizing what makes people unique. And of course, equality in whatever sexual orientation, disabilities, age, gender, nationality. And this has been quite the DNA of F-Secure because this company started as an startup in the early 90s, so 1988. So this diversity was one of the major core values. Some data about Finland. we have 700 people, and we have 55 nationalities, and 67 for them are Finnish, which is quite unique. And the gender ratio is also, for being a tech company, is quite nice. We are still struggling because it's not sufficient to have people, you know, in both genders and to have a good gender ratio. But the important thing is to have the people on the moments that matter. So how do you do it? You need to have decision makers on the decision making positions, line managers. So it's not sufficient to have people in some level of the organizations to truly have a balance. You need to ensure that you have people like line managers, for instance, from diverse backgrounds, like female in this case, in all the layers of the organization. And then you can see the average age and the length of service in the organization, also by gender, slightly higher on the female than on the women population. Yet again, I wanted to reinforce this equal opportunity. This is structured from our code of conduct, and this is something that we drafted already 2 years ago. So it's our professional competences. We prohibit any type of discrimination and harassment. And actually, whenever a fellow, we call the employees fellows, has escalated any type of concern or item. For instance, if someone escalates that to me as the HR business partner, typically we assign it to another HR business partner to ensure this neutrality on the assessment of the cases. If it is a complicated case, imagine that I am a business HR partner and someone in the team comes with a complicated harassment case. I work very closely with the line managers. I may be somehow subconsciously intending to benefit the line manager, so we assign it to another HR business partner to ensure this neutrality, which is, I think, something very, very cool. Why to join us? Well, for one side, revenue, profit, this tells that we are a healthy company, but the purpose. So it's about healthy.
Anna?
Yeah?
Sorry to interrupt your flow. Would you be able to maybe wrap up in 1 minute?
Let me go very quickly about the office. Let's jump into the careers. So what openings we have now? Very important, 99.9% of the openings we have, they do not require Finnish. So some languages are required. For instance, if you have to deal with the Swedish, German, or Danish employees or customers, you have to have the language. But I haven't recruited any in F-Secure someone who needed to speak Finnish. Majority in R&D, and as you can see on the right side, the current positions we have, this is the case. But we have plenty of openings also in HR. Shortly ago, we had one finance, marketing, sales, customer experience. We have now built the internal woman in tech F-Secure network. So we are very, very active in all that has to do with diversity also and gender gap. Actually, this is it. Caroline, I think I can speak.
Thank you. You like the bullet train, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing can stop you. But hey, great. I think it's a great pitch on behalf of your company, and definitely makes it interesting for people, I think, to go and check the website, learn more, and look at the career opportunities. So I think you did a really good job. We'll take the questions later then, so we see you back in the Q&A.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Anna. Then let's welcome Minna Marja, who is the head of talent acquisition from Nordea. So Minna Marja, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Lucia. Can I ask for your support here? I think it's a great bridge what Anna was just sharing about the security and stuff. So I won't be able to join with my own work laptops, and that's why it's almost nearly impossible for me to share my presentation here. So we are doing a teamwork with Lucia now. I'm very happy to be here. I'm Minna, co-leading the talent acquisition unit at Nordea. I've been with Nordea for 5 years. My own background is within talent acquisition from Microsoft and Nokia and other smaller companies before that, almost 15 years straight. Still not getting bored, love the field. It's changing a lot, as is actually many other industries as well. And I think this is maybe the whole topic for my presentation here today when we are talking about Nordea. If we could move on.
Can you see it?
Yes. So I will briefly just tell what we are doing. I think many people have quite an overview already, or at least some kind of expectation what does Nordea mainly do, but let's see if there's any surprises. Few words about Nordea as a workplace, and then what is the direction for us at the moment, and where do we wish to see ourselves heading towards. If we can move on, thank you. So we have a history of 200 years already of providing services to our customers. We are focusing in 3 different kind of segments. We have the private customers, we have corporates, and then there's institutions. And we are driven, everything that we do, basically, we have a certain purpose, and that is that we are achieving something together. And the togetherness is the key for us in a way to find also within the ways how our teams are working, how we are meeting our customers, how are we building new solutions, how are we there for the society as well. We have many different kind of hats that we are wearing at the same time. That's, in my opinion, one of the most interesting parts that makes the banking so, in a way, something that I didn't expect it to be honest. Before I joined 5 years ago, I didn't expect it to be this broad. If we move on to the next one, we will have an overview of the biggest countries that we have. We are located in 6 countries at the moment. So we have 28,000 employees. And the 6 countries mentioned here, those are the biggest ones where we have the big offices and big corporate centers and big branches and all of that. There's certain locations also in international field, in US, in UK, some in Asia, but we leave them out from here. The headcount is not that significant, so we will be focusing on the 6 countries. In my opinion, this map gives quite a good overview of Nordea. For example, my team, the 45 recruiters who are recruiting in the talent acquisition unit, they are located in all of these 6 countries, and we are operating every single day with all of our colleagues. So the virtual working environment and the connections across the countries, that's already something that we have been doing for quite many years. And Nordea is truly a Nordic, and at the moment a bit bigger than Nordic company. So the corporate language is English. And we have, of course, a lot of positions where we require the local language as well. Those are the private customers that we are meeting in the branches. There needs to be the language that we are then meeting the customer with. But we have a lot of positions in the so-called headquarter roles. And over there, those are the units and the teams that are then preparing the new solutions, how we are meeting the customers and what are the expectations that are coming from the customers. If we move forward. I wanted to mention also that within these 28,000 employees, we have 97 nationalities at the moment. That was 2 months ago, might be changing. Just wanted to quickly also highlight, like, everyone sees maybe banking in a bit different way. Many of us see it as a private thing, like how is my day-to-day money things being handled, and what is my own private, in a way, situation. For us also, banking means that we are taking very big steps with all of our customers, the private, the corporate, the institutional ones. How are we shaping the society, the future? Sustainability is one of the big things for us as well. And we do have quite a, in a way, ambitious targets for 2050 that we would be completely zero emission. And that takes, of course, like we are not able to do that alone, and we are encouraging our customers, the ones that we are advising, how they are taking the directions in their own companies. We are there to put together, supporting them to do also making this being the reality for all of us in quite a short period of time. So this is something that we are investing very heavily at the moment. If we move on. So at Nordea, when we talk about all of us, all of the people who are working at Nordea, we also don't have HR department, we have a people department. And every single one of us, when we are about to join or when we are already part of Nordea, it's important to see and feel that we are open. We are open to work together in a good company. We are open and we are caring together for something bigger. We always have this kind of a horizon target that we want to achieve. At the moment, the sustainability is one of those big ones. There's of course many other strategies and something that is driving the day-to-day work, but there needs to be this kind of a northern star that we are all working towards. Reinventing banking, and this is in the core of what I want to discuss, and there's a few more slides about this topic, but I feel this is also close to my own heart. So how are we meeting the expectations that are coming from the market? The payments area is changing all the time. the banking sector, of course, needs to change. At the same time, there's new competitors all the time. If we think about, for example, Klarna, I think this is the classic case study that we are using at the moment, that they basically came from nowhere, and they are one of the biggest players in the field when it comes to the online paying and this kind of a payment solutions. So absolutely, every single one in the banking sector needs to be then paying attention that how are we keeping up with the speed. But most importantly, for all of us who are at Nordea, then how are we growing? And no one is growing alone, so we are growing together as an individual. What kind of careers can you have? But also that what is the direction that we as a bank want to achieve? And thinking about, for example, my own team members here in Finland, I have colleagues who have been working for Nordea for 25 years, and they have been having like 5 or 6 different careers, doing private banking, going into personal banking, then doing something else, coming to the group people, maybe going to compliance for a moment. So the opportunities are really big inside the company. On the next slide, we have our purpose, which is one of these the key topics that we discuss also with the teams. We have this kind of the development and learning directions. They are always driven by the 4 values that we see here: the collaboration, passion, courage, and ownership. So this is something that is driving every single one of us on the day-to-day work. And the last 2 slides, I said about the direction for the banking. Hopefully this is something interesting, and if there's any questions about this, I'm more than happy to also connect afterwards. So as I said, that every single one of us in the banking and financial industry, we need to be looking at what's happening outside. The globalization, regulation, sustainability, all of these topics mentioned here, they are actually the ones that are driving the day-to-day banking, how we see it also inside. It's not necessarily something that is coming out, that is in a way the first thing that people think when they think about the banking sector. But these are the core topics that is driving the operations and day-to-day work at the moment. For example, for us at Nordea. And looking at the last slide, so how are we designing the future for the banking? One of the big topics for us, and also many of the hiring opportunities that we have, they are of course around these ones. So where we have new areas that we need to be conquering, we won't be able to do that without the talent and without the knowledge and the skills. Mobile banking, of course, a lot of we have developer and deeply technical positions open. Mobile payment goes a bit hand in hand over there. Blockchain, big thing for all of us, and we are also curious about that kind of skill sets, actually quite widely. Open banking maybe goes hand in hand with the regulations, but it's interesting to understand that we are also not just providing the traditional banking services, but how are we, playing with the new players in the field, like Klarna and the other ones. And chatbots, of course, that's interesting for all of us, growing function in all of the interactions that we have with the customers. But I think this happens without the people, so the people is in the core. I didn't put the link into our LinkedIn page or any of those job opportunities. I said 28,000 employees, size of a company, we are hiring a lot. We hire thousands and thousands of people every year. A lot of these seasonal positions, for example, summer temps, so this kind of a short-term things. Also quite a lot of entry-level positions, but then this kind of a core expertise required roles as well. And they are all in a nice same back, and you can find them all from our webpage on the nordea.com or from LinkedIn. Yeah, basically that's it. I saw some questions popping in. So
yeah,
thank you. I will stop the sharing now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Lucia, and thanks, Minna Maria. So yes, we will review the questions and then we will come to them in the Q&A. So thank you for your patience. And then last but not least, we have Johanna from Wärtsilä, who is leading the talent strategy.
Thank you so much, and I'm so glad to be here with you this afternoon. It's a privilege to talk about Wärtsilä and of course any questions that you might have. And now to double check again, are you seeing my presentation, not the one with my, yes, very good, very good. So yes, my name is Johanna Kakkuri and I'm working as a talent strategy and development lead, which means that I'm globally responsible for our talent management processes. So that means everything from attracting, retaining, developing our talents that we have. And it's a very interesting job, of course, because this is very positive to ensure that we retain the great people that we have globally. Myself, I'm located in Vaasa in Finland, and but my working field is all over the world, and I will present you a bit more on where we can be found. But just shortly about Wärtsilä, what we are. So we are a global leader when it comes to technologies and the whole life cycle of the marine and energy business or markets. And our purpose is enabling sustainable societies with smart technology. So what we just heard that Noda also talked about are renewable energy and sustainability, and like green values are very important to us. And of course, the strategy also includes very much the customers, so to increase the customer value in these sectors, so in the marine and energy markets. And we have identified 3 key focus areas. So that's like energy efficiency, life cycle optimization, and innovative solutions. And these will then be achieved through the areas mentioned in the circle, like, for example, energy efficiency. And the Wärtsilä strategy has been then translated into 2 market-facing strategies, one for the marine industry and then for the energy industry as well. So when it comes to energy business, we are striving towards a 100% renewable energy future and help our customers then to unlock the value of the energy transition by optimizing energy systems and so on. And then again, on the marine area, we are on a mission to create a smart marine ecosystem, which the maritime industry then uses to ensure the cleanest fuel possible that they are using. As we have diversity and inclusive as a theme of today, I have to say, unfortunately, neither of these sectors is especially diverse, looking from a gender perspective. There has been different kind of researches when it comes to these sectors. And for example, the International Energy Agency says that women are very much underrepresented in the energy sector. And then when we look at the maritime industry, it's even worse. So it was the International Transport Workers Federation that estimates that only 2% of the global maritime workforce are women. And I mean, we just need to go to some technical university or any other school, and we can see that most of the students are unfortunately men. Well, unfortunately, it's not the correct word maybe, but I would love to see more women also working for us, because of course, when we work within these industries and with products to customers working in this industry, it means that we have a lot of people with technical backgrounds. Of course, in addition, we have more than engineers working for us as well. For example, I'm not an engineer. I have a master's in business administration. So there can be found a lot of different occupations and backgrounds also within Wärtsilä. But I think we have a lot of things that we need to do in order to make young women, girls see a future also within the technical field. Well, here we have some numbers. What might be of your interest is that we have operations in over 200 locations globally, and around, well, this is the numbers from the 31st of December. Then we had 139 nationalities in more than 70 countries around the world. And the headquarters we have in Finland, and Wärtsilä is a very, very old company. As you can see, it has been founded in 1834. So in 30 years, we are going to celebrate 200 years in the markets. So that's a very long history that we can be very proud of. Then looking more into the nationalities that can be found. So these are all the nationalities throughout Wärtsilä globally. So depending on your background, it might be that you find a very familiar flag on the list, maybe. And when it comes again, coming back to diversity and inclusive, I think we are a very global company, and as you can see, we have a lot of different nationalities, and of these we have around 50 different nationalities in Finland. So I mean, we are a very international company, looking from different perspectives, even within Finland. But of course, diversity is much more than gender or cultural background or nationality. And this is something that we very much look into. Starting from the genders, as I said, it is a challenge to find for more women within this field, because girls just don't study technology in the universities, for example. So we have now currently 17% of our employees are women, but we have come upwards, because in 2017 we had 11% were women. So that's a good progression there. But then we are very, very happy to say that we do a lot of different development processes that we have launched in order to support and drive the Wärtsilä's diversity work. Of course, we have a very long road ahead of us, but we are into this together, and we are very much committed. And we are looking from many different aspects, so educational background, different kind of personalities, age, gender, and minorities. And we think that is a very great asset that makes us stronger together as individuals. But we can proudly say that Wärtsilä in Finland have been recognized as the most diverse company according to the Nordic Business Diversity Index. So this report looks at multidimensional parts of this. So this is something that we are very proud of. Then looking at the different locations, so we can be found in 3 different locations, Helsinki, Turku, and Vaasa. Not more about that. So mainly our open positions that we have currently are in these locations, and we have currently in Finland around 30 open positions, and globally around 120. And yes, of course, in some of the positions, it might be a requirement that you know, for example, Finnish or some other language, but we are a very, very global company from that perspective, that all written text can be found in English mainly only, and the discussions, all the emails are in English. And I can give you a quick example. I was attending a workshop yesterday, and we were then divided into smaller breakout rooms, and we had discussions then I think we were 5 in my group, and I think we had like 30 minutes to discuss around the topic that was given. And I think we had discussed like 20 minutes when we realized that, hey, actually we are all speaking Finnish, but we did speak English together. And that is so normal. I mean, we tend to speak English even though that we are 2 Finns speaking, because we are very much an English company. And then this is my last slide. So if you have a QR code reader on your phone, now it's time to open that up and scan the following 2 codes. So the one on the left hand side, there you can find all Wärtsilä's social media pages, so that you can familiarize yourself with the company more into depth. And then on the right hand side, then there you can find me. So this is an invitation for you to join my LinkedIn network. So thank you, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have after the presentations.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Johanna. And yeah, I've been busy copying and going through the questions. There has been actually quite many now coming up. Not all for you, but since you are the last presenter now, maybe we can start with you. So one commenter was saying that there was at least an impression that when you have international talents in Wärtsilä, they are still rather from like Finnish universities. So they are foreigners, but who have been graduating in Finland. And the question was that, First of all, is this correct? And second of all, that are you open to also have graduates from other countries?
Absolutely. Well, absolutely to the latter part of your question. We are open to have talents. And I think looking from like a hiring or recruiting perspective, we don't, I mean, the nationality or where you are from or what your education or your gender or whatever, it doesn't play a role, because I think for us it's important to find the correct person for that position. So is it then someone who has graduated in Finland with a Finnish background or a foreign background, or is it someone else from any other country around the world? It doesn't matter. I mean, for us, the most important thing is to find the right talent. And yes, that might be the case, that it seems that most of our international Batsilians in Finland have graduated in Finland. But of course, it's easier because it's not for us, but maybe for them to they know Finland already, and they are willing to stay here and so on, and maybe have their network. So we don't have that many applicants from then other countries than from Finland if we have a position open in Finland. So that is mainly the reason for that background as well.
Okay, great. And then there was also another question, if you can answer very shortly, the process to apply for a work tryout in Wärtsilä. Is it all explained on your website, perhaps?
I don't think we have any details on work trial, but I think to there you can find the contact information to our recruitment team. So then you can reach out to them, tell them what is your situation and what kind of work you're looking for, and they will then support you and try to help you to see if we have any availability for this kind of roles in Wärtsilä.
Okay, brilliant. Then let's go through a few questions for other presenters, and then there will be some questions actually which are not to one of you specifically, but just for you to answer what's your feeling. A question for Pia. Because you have such a large network of freelancer, it might be difficult to maintain a like umbrella culture, so to say. So how do you manage with so much remote work done for like practically 20 years, I think you said, to actually build this kind of culture in the company?
Yes, for our freelancers, they are of course freelancers, and they work for several, not just, well, some work solely for us, but they also work for other companies. So with freelancers, we just keep regular contacts and organize events and training and so on. So kind of keeping them up to date and under the umbrella. But within the company, as we are all working remote at the moment, I think we are a group of very devoted specialists in the area, and we work with close contact with each other in our small projects, and it's kind of easy to maintain the same sort of working culture as before, regardless of where we work. But we of course wish to see each other soon again. I'm sure everybody does.
Okay, great, thank you so much. Then a couple of questions for Minna Maria. Apparently a couple of people have been applying already to Nordea, and one question was around some tests that you have been performing. So is that still something that you're doing, and is that for all candidates or only the ones who have gone already through the CV and cover letter screening?
Yeah, really good question, and I hope that I'm then also speaking on behalf of many other companies and units and teams on the recruitment process perspective. But those kind of tests that are used normally in the recruitment process at Nordea, we have a company called Aon, what used to be CAT-E. We are using the tests for mostly at the end of the recruitment process for the key specialist positions. But if we are hiring, for example, for summer temps, or if we are hiring for the graduate program where we are expecting to receive big volume of applications, then we are using them earlier in the process. So it depends a bit on the position that has been applied for.
Okay, great. And then the next question, I think is quite interesting actually, that your customer base is getting more and more diverse, as is the Finnish society. So any chances at some point that we would see in your banks people who are not actually native in Finnish speaking or native level of Finnish speaking, but also, could be that there is English speakers who can serve enough English speaking customers, or Chinese or Indian or whichever. In that sense.
We already do have, but I don't think that in Finland yet, but in other locations, there's some, when you call online and you need to choose like which language you want to be served with, we do have then of course a line that is only picking up the English topics. But when it comes then, because over there you can basically direct the customers into the funnel that you will have the right person meeting. If we are thinking about the branches, for example, if you get the number from the waiting ticket, then we need to be sure that the person who is meeting you on the other side of the desk, that's the person who can then serve you with the language that is expected to be received. So there's a bit kind of different approach for those. But absolutely, it's a really good observation that the need for the customer service is changing a lot, and of course we are also evaluating, and then the customer in a way landscape for us is also changing rapidly.
Okay, excellent. I know there are many more questions for specifically the presenters, but I think we could move on maybe to the, let's say, like more common questions, and because there are some very specific questions in the chat, but perhaps we can now move on to the, let's say, more generic ones. So one would be around, I lost it. Yes, this is something that's coming up quite often actually in recruitment seminars, but I still think it's one that is worth addressing. So how do you consider these kind of gaps in careers, and how much does it kind of influence your choices to actually discuss them with the candidates? I don't know who wants to take this one.
Maybe I can say in general, I mean, and probably this is more on having like some kind of gap in the CV, for example. So I think usually we look holistically on what are the competencies, what are the skills, what are the backgrounds that a person has. So I wouldn't see this as like automatically something that says that no, we cannot hire this person because there's some gap. I mean, this is something that needs to be discussed further. Then if there are some interesting to understanding what is the gap is about. So I think it's more on looking at different aspects of what this person has done, not what this person hasn't done.
Great. And bouncing back then on what you were just saying, so maybe someone else now could answer that one, but it's again, what is important for you when you're hiring? So is it about the knowledge? Is it about the skills or the attitude? And is knowledge sharing encouraged in the company? What kind of company cultures do you have? So this kind of thoughts, anyone?
I can maybe quickly comment. So I'm thinking about the order when we are finding the right candidates to go further with. It's of course most important from the resume perspective, what are the skill sets of the profile. So if we are looking for a specific skill set, then if you have that in the resume, that is basically how you go to from the first steps. But then depending, we have the entry level positions, and so with the many other companies as well, over there you are more maybe expecting to see certain kind of indicators of growth, fast learning, the curiosity. So I have to say that there's no this kind of one answer to what is it that the company is looking for, but really depending on the level of the position that you are applying for.
Yeah.
What are the key tricks to get to the first step?
Great, thank you. Then, of course, we know the struggles of international talents to find work in Finland, but we also do know that every now and then companies have troubles to actually recruit international talents. So any of you have been faced with these kind of challenges, and how did you overcome them?
I think we haven't had as such challenges in recruiting international talents. But yes, there might have been some obstacles on the way if we are recruiting someone from another country to Finland, for example. And then there's quite a lot of bureaucracy behind, and it might take a long while before we get that person coming to Finland. And it's not because of that person, it's because of all the paperwork, all the work permissions, everything around that. So that is more maybe the challenge that I see. In this.
Maybe Anna can answer herself, as she's been an international talent in this position. What do you say, Carl?
Yes, absolutely. For us, actually, being an international talent is an advantage, and it doesn't mean that we discriminate locals, but we value so much this diversity that is just not about finding the international talent, but we try to be very active in, for instance, Facebook groups where we know that the international talents may land in, and of course initiatives from the government like the city of Helsinki and so on. And as my colleague mentioned earlier, one of the problems we have, and we have discussed as a company with Migri, is that work permit processing and so on can really delay projects, and we may drop off some candidates. So some work and some improvement is needed in that area. And one reality of companies are facing now is we are all fishing in the same pond, meaning that, for instance, shortage of talent in Finland makes it so that we need to seek outside. So what we are doing is just a great effort in communication and sharing the opportunities that we have.
Wonderful. And actually, speaking about this, so bringing in people that are not hiring people who are not currently in Finland. So yes, there is these bureaucracies and red tapes and all these challenges that are very well known, but then maybe an additional one is also how to deal and support the spouse of these expats, that once you finally get them in Finland, then do you have any kind of programs in your respective companies to support also the spouses of those new hires that you have?
This is Anna, and I can comment that we joined actually one activity. I think it's from the city of Helsinki. The problem that we find is that this is very scattered. So instead of being globally for Finland or even for Helsinki capital region, it seems that Espoo is building its own program for spouses. Helsinki is building its own, and probably Vantaa is left alone in one corner. So in this program, what we are doing is we cooperate with this organization precisely to support the integration of the spouses, because one of the things, and we have lost candidates for that, is that people who are thinking about relocating and taking our offers, they cannot see a career for the spouses. So of course they have to decline our offers because of that. So clearly something needs to be done in that area as well.
What about other presenters? Do you have any program or a local partnership with a spouse program that can support then the new hires family to actually get integrated in Finland as well?
Yeah, we have that possibility.
Sorry, Jana.
Sorry.
Okay, Johanna first, then Pia.
Yeah, I was just saying that yes, we have something like this to support, and I think it's so much more than just for the spouse to find a job. But because if you move with your family, there's more than the job. So there's the free time and all the practicalities, and you have maybe children and everything. So there are many different aspects that needs to be taken into account. And in order for this person that you have hired will retain in that company, in that location, you need to do a very good job so that this person with his or her family will get a good start.
Okay, very good. Then
Caroline, this is Megumi. Can I comment on the spouse program?
Yes, and then Pia, I think, wanted to also say something.
Oh, sorry. This is Megumi, and I'm from Turku Science Park and working on the National Talent Boost program. And somebody said that we are all very aware of the spouse. I don't want to call it a problem, but having some difficulties, and Helsinki Espoo program is the pilot, and we are also making some effort to make the spouse program on the public level happen, because many smaller companies just do not have enough resources. And this Empower Wednesday program is going some way toward it. trying to support the people and also the international talents and spouses to try to support them in finding their working path.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Pia, please go ahead.
Actually, I just wanted to chip in and say that we actually don't have an official program for this. We have always tried to look at the situations individually and of course help families move in with the people who are coming to work for us. What's interesting during the last 12 months is that you don't actually have to move anywhere anymore. which makes things a bit easier if you don't have to be at the location physically.
This is very true, actually. Then there was an interesting question concerning open applications. So do you receive a lot? How often do you go through them? And let's say maybe the underwritten question is kind of like, what are the chances really with this kind of open application processes? And I get the question a lot also for Kone, so I know the topic as well. So who would like to?
I can actually continue. We do get quite a few open applications, and the kind of end result really depends on the application. If there is a very generic application that isn't directed at anything specific, then the chances aren't very high of being recruited. But if the open application is very well thought of and kind of directed at things that we really need and things that we do, then the chances are that and has been many cases where we have hired the person. And as you know, everybody here knows, I think not all open positions are kind of announced or published.
Yes.
So it might, and sometimes the process is, if we have are in a hurry to recruit for a specific project that is beginning very short notice, then these are the cases. If you're time, then you might get lucky.
Yeah, got it. Anyone else would like to comment on this open application process and chances? All right, then let's move on to the next questions. So if we're coming back actually to those tests, the question then is then addressed to everyone except Minna Maria, who has already answered this. Are Wärtsilä, Linksoft, and F-Secure also having this kind of testing process during the recruitment after screening CVs and cover letters? Is that something that your company does as well?
This is Sana, and in F-Secure, no. We have a very lengthy interviewing process, and we try to engage on the interview to everyone that has will be in contact or cooperating with the candidate from peers. We have team interviews with colleagues, and everybody is there in the process, and we rely more on that, having many people agreeing and understanding than the test itself for the time being. I don't know if this will be changed, but no, we don't use tests.
How about Johanna in Wärtsilä or Pia in Linksoft?
We have, depending on the position and the need, so not for every recruitment, we might have some tests that we will use, but not for all. And then I think in the same question there will also about the video. So we utilize video interviews also as part of the recruitment process.
Yeah,
so not like face-to-face interviews, but sending questions and you need to record your answer.
Yes, we do the same actually. So yeah, it's an interesting process.
Did you need my input? I got carried away reading the chat, so could you repeat the question?
No worries. The question was that, are you also using these kind of tests when you have screened the CVs and cover letters? Are you then like having some kind of test with the selected candidates?
Yes, of course, depending on the position that people are applying for. If they're applying for let's say a project coordinator, we have certain tools that we use, for instance, translation software that we use. We might test people's ability or knowledge in not necessarily knowing already how to use them, but kind of their intuition and so on, willingness to learn that sort of thing.
Okay, great. Then I think we are going to tackle one more subject, and I will let Lucia wrap up at the end. So there is a couple of questions concerning rejection. So of course, not everybody can get the role that they apply for, and I assume big companies like yours, you are getting hundreds of applications per position. So it's probably that you are doing a lot of rejection. Any thoughts about the feedback that should be provided to the candidates, and what kind of like transparency are you providing in your hiring process? Let's start with that, and then there will be another question concerning rejections, but maybe with this one first.
This is Anna again. I'm very happy that this is asked, because this is something that I always highlighted to the hiring managers. When someone spends 1 hour or 30 minutes discussing with you, you have to show back this respect. So everyone who has been interviewed in F-Secure receives a call back from the hiring manager. There are no email templates, no thank you letters that are not personalized. So people deserve to have this conversation on why they were hired. Of course, this cannot be done for everybody who applies to the job. So typically there is the standard no thank you letters. And of course, depending on the job, I discussed with the hiring manager whether to fine tune it a bit to highlight what were the reasons of the rejections. But as I said, truly important. Everybody that has been interviewed, even if it's a phone interview, receives a phone call back.
Very good. Any thoughts from others on this one?
Exactly on the same page here. So once coming to the face-to-face or through video interviews, then of course at that point the time investment is big. There's also a lot of then personal aspects that are being shared from the candidate perspective. So the least that there is to be done at that point, if not being selected, is then to have the phone call. And most often there, I think it's more of the problem having so many good candidates is also the time to ask that can be then used as application later on for some other position if we get something else open.
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah, you would like to give input as well?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as well. We of course always come back with a reply, and we have actually also started giving more detailed feedback to candidates after interviews or after tests, so that they, especially if the recruitment process has included something in writing, a written test or has sampled, then we always send feedback.
Yes, and perhaps I can take the moderator hat off for a second and put the recruiting manager hat on for 1 second. But I agree with you. Honestly, I get 100 applications for every job that I open. So doing a personalized feedback on 100 applications just isn't an option. Especially since most of the time the feedback would be like, sorry, you just sent me a CV, there's no cover letter, so thank you, but no thank you. That's just my philosophy. It's non-publicly, so I can say it out loud. But then for definitely the ones that are going through at least the video interview, at the minimum, I will send some kind of message, personalized message, and then those who go through like the actual interviews, I will call as well. I think that's kind of the minimum thing to do in that sense. So it's good that you guys are doing that as well. And then the second part of the question on the rejection was that do you have any kind of process in place that would allow a candidate that feels they have been, discriminated against, or they have been like mishandled in the recruitment process, that what can these kind of candidates do then? Do you have anything like that in place?
I can maybe start with this one. It is most important that all of the applicants who are sending the application to Nordea, they first of all know how they can withdraw their application and ask the data to be deleted. That's the basic rights for everyone who is part of the recruitment process. But then if there's any kind of even smallest kind of feeling that something did not go wrong, we have the Raise Your Concern channel that is also open for everyone who is then has been part of the recruitment process. And if there's any tickets coming, it's not, of course, our team, talent acquisition, that would be investigating. It's another investigation that is then being completed. So we take them very seriously, of course.
Okay, interesting. Johanna or Anna or Pia, any thoughts on that one?
Well, I think that sounds very good, that what you have in order, that you have like a channel that you can post your concerns. I think for us, we have talent acquisition specialists that are part of the recruitment process and supporting the manager. So I do hope that this will not happen, so that we can prevent this even happening. But of course, if you feel that things has not gone according to, well, not expectations, because it might be that you expect to get the job, but if there's some other concerns, I think you can always reach out to the talent acquisition partner in our case, then to have a discussion on this, because that person is a bit on the side from the hiring process than the hiring manager again.
Okay, and not speaking specifically of your companies, but I have heard so many times, and we had also one comment in the chat, especially around the Finnish language requirements, that it's so oftentimes that people will invest a lot of time, up to 2-3 interviews sometimes, and then at the end they are told, well, actually Finnish is a requirement. So how do you go through 3 interviews and then somehow they realize that, hey, Finnish is a requirement? So, and this has happened like hundreds of times. I've heard it so many times, so I don't fully understand what's the game there. But better maybe to say that actually you're not a match, or somebody's just a bit better than you, or whatever. But so these kind of things, I think they should be, of course companies can make mistakes, it happens, but they should be proper channels to be able to say that, hey, come on, like please have some respect also for the candidates, even though in the end you don't hire them, but don't make people lose or waste their time in a recruitment process if at the end of the day you're not going to hire them. So I think that's the kind of messages that we are hearing also from the international community. Very good. I think we have only a few minutes left, so I think that we will stop for the questions. There were many more in the chat, so I would like to thank the audience for being very active and bringing up all these wonderful questions. I would of course like to thank our host Lucia for organizing this session, and our partners like Megumi and Laura. And I would also like, of course, to thank our guests who have been speaking openly. You have been very honest and candid about your processes. So thank you very much for that on my behalf. And perhaps, Lucia, I would give you the closing word.
Thank you, Caroline, and thank you, everybody. The chat was really on fire, and thank you even to the speaker for actually paying attention to the question and answering even in the chat. You've been really multitasking, and from International Working Women of Finland, I have to say that is really a female attribute that you've been using today during this webinar. And I think that as international talent, myself and Caroline, maybe Anna in this as a speaker today, we all have seen how it can be difficult to find a working path in Finland. And the reason why we are here today is because we saw the need of this international talent to have some kind of support and guide, and what is the best to ask directly to the companies that they are applying to. So thanks again for answering this call. I think it's very important that you took your time to explain how is the process and what are the expectations and what is your work environment. And I'm happy to see that the company is very already having a lot of international talent in the human resources. So I'm glad to see that. And hopefully the future is becoming more and more open to international talent even here in Finland. And these kind of webinars are just a starting point for a better future. So thanks everybody. And as I said previously, I'm going to leave this channel open for everybody that would like to network after. And as I said, it will be recorded. So even if you arrive late, don't you worry. And you can review the session later. So thanks everybody for joining today. Thanks to all our speakers and our wonderful moderators. Thank you.